So the handouts there, just so you know, let me end on that. This idea, this one here is just one of the things we do. And by the way, the kind of relationship between Brand Velocity, between Greg and I and these organizations is, if there is a place where he's got this amazing team that understands so much more than I ever will on all the financial things that have to happen to allow business to occur in a new way. Our focus is more on, if you got that figured out, but you're trying to win the hearts and minds, you're trying to figure out how my executives are going to do this, or you're trying to get people to buy into where it's going, or I'm doing it, but it's really complex, and I need somebody to just walk with me while we do it. That's kind of what we're trying to provide in Greg's sort of portfolio of things. This is sort of a action planning session. You know, often these are just one-day sessions. You do the profiling ahead of time. You understand where your team is. You pick an initiative and say, let's come up with an alignment or a 90-day plan. One thing I didn't talk about, but is interesting, this Playing to Win is a strategy development process. It was developed by A.G. Lafley at Procter & Gamble and Roger Banner, who I think is with the Canadian Business School. And to me, it's a neat facilitated process development that basically allows you to say, who are we, and where do we want to go, and what's the gap, rather than paying somebody to come in and do all this analysis of all the possibilities in the world, and then you're still left trying to figure out where it is you want to go. So those are the kind of things we do. If you have any interest or anything, would love to, contact you. I don't know what else you want to say about that in a minute. Yes, ma'am.
I've been involved in large initiatives in organizations for more years than I care to count. The things that you're talking about today are exactly the same challenges that we faced in the 70s, except things are even more interactive. You can't change anything without IT now. You're dealing with a bunch of engineers, and nobody schedules enough people time to participate in the projects, but they want you to get them done. When are we going to learn? Or what is the profile of a company that is better at this?
So on the first question, and as an old large firm management consulting guy, I think the blame for a lot of that. I used to say this in the early 90s. Everybody was implementing these big systems, and consulting firms were making a lot of money implementing big systems, and paying all of us to code. Have a lot of people that code things for big systems. And then we said, oh, but we have to help you make sure the system really works. And we developed an area, we separated an area, and we called it change management. Suddenly change management was outside of operations or implementation. It was something new, or something different. And because it's different, it never had the impact. It was never woven in for how you actually do things. And as a consultant, I said, yeah, we always had it separate, because then when you negotiated us, we had something we could take out of the contract. Because we wanted the money over here, and it was just that kind of separation of doing and the people has happened in large initiatives for years. The way to do it, I guess the only thing I can say is when you start talking about cultural change, or you start talking about adaptive ability within an organization, you can't do a skunk works. Come up with a new product. You can come up with a new product and put it in. You can't do skunk works for a new way of working and just dump it in an organization. Because again, the system's all going to push back against that. You've got to develop a way of an organization that thinks more about how it might adapt, that it adapts quicker. And I can give you some examples, but I don't want to go too long into that. Greg, I think I'm out of time. I don't want to.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Any questions afterwards?
Yeah, Tom's going to be around for a little while if you want to corner him and ask some questions and stuff. Hopefully you got something out of this. Our next Aspire session is February 18th. We're going to totally go a different direction. Talk about 401ks. Joe Stack is going to come from Pension Mark and do a presentation for us. One of the things that we're seeing in that space is the DOL beginning to focus on plans and what they're not doing, and really creating some problems and anxiety and compliance issues for even the smallest 401k plan. So Joe's going to come and talk about some of those things, just to throw some issues up on the table so that hopefully people aren't blindsided by that. We'll be sending out invitations and information on that shortly. Make sure you're signed up, and then stop by the registration desk. Certificates are available again for the CPE. Leave your business card if you want to make sure you're on our list. And then parking validation stickers are also out there available. We look forward to seeing you in February, and thanks so much. We appreciate you today. Okay, have a great week.